I'm, Charles Onana. Just a journalist, really. But in Congo, well, being just a journalist means being the voice for those who've been silenced. This is my home, Congo, a place of breathtaking beauty and heartbreaking struggle. Every day I write, not for fame or fortune, but for something far more precious, the truth. Each story is a piece of our nation's puzzle, a puzzle that's been jumbled up for far too long.
The truth is like water in the desert, Charles. Essential yet dangerous to those who control it.
I've seen things that would make most people look away, but I can't. I won't. They're stories. They become part of me. They make me grow in ways I never expected. Sometimes the weight of it all feels overwhelming. But then I remember why I do this. It's for them, for their future, for a Congo that could be... But it's not easy. Every revelation comes at a cost. There are those who'd prefer I stay quiet, who think intimidation can drown out the truth. But they underestimate the power of words, of stories, of the human spirit. In the shadows, whispers grow louder. Secrets long buried begin to surface. And just when I think I've seen it all, something new lands on my desk. A tip, a lead, a map to... Well, I'm not sure yet, but it's big. It's too dangerous. You've pushed your luck too far already. But if not you, then who? Who will speak for Congo? The question isn't whether I'm ready for what comes next. The question is Congo ready for the truth? Well, here we go. Into the belly of the beast, as they say. Assuming beasts have clay bellies. It's remarkable how quickly things change when you start looking closely. One minute you're in a forest, the next, well, let's just say Mother Nature isn't calling the shots anymore. And then I met her, Amina, a whiz kid with a heart of gold and circuit boards.
You're Onana, right? I've read your work. I think I can help.
Help? I wasn't sure I needed any, but then again...
These corporations, they live in the digital world as much as the physical one. You need someone who can navigate both.
She had a point, and something told me I could trust her. Maybe it was her eyes. Even made of clay, they sparkled with determination. Every scrap of paper, every overheard conversation, it was all part of the puzzle. A very three-dimensional puzzle. Amina, what did you call this place again?
The cloud, Mr. Onana. Everything's in the cloud now.
Right, the cloud. Seems even clay figures can't escape technology. Though I must admit, a clay cloud sounds messy. Watching Amina work was like, well, imagine a sculptor and a codebreaker had a child. That's Amina. And then we found it. The smoking gun, as they say in those detective novels. Except this gun was more squidgy.
It's all here, Mr. Onana. The corporations, the government officials, the resources.
It's like holding Congo's future in our hands. The truth, finally taking shape. Quite literally. But in Congo, the truth is a dangerous thing. And we were about to find out just how dangerous. They say the walls have ears. In our case, it seems the floor had, well, something much worse. And with very angry eyebrows.
Mr. Onana, we need to move, now.
As we ran, I couldn't help but think. I really should have stretched before this investigation. Well, remember when I said the truth was dangerous? I didn't quite realize how literal that could be. They came out of nowhere, or maybe everywhere. In Congo, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. And just like that, I was contained. Though contained seems like such a small word for having your world shrink to the size of a cell. It happened so fast, yet felt like an eternity. Speaking of small, is it me, or is this room getting more cozy? I could feel myself breaking. Not just physically, but well, you know, the walls seemed to be closing in, both literally and figuratively. Every crack felt like a failure, a person I was letting down. The miner, his family, the children I taught. Amina. I hoped she was safe. That she'd escaped. That she'd... What was that thing she always said? Is this how it ends? Filed away and forgotten? Just another inconvenient truth swept under the rug of bureaucracy? I couldn't help but feel like I was being erased from history itself. I felt myself getting smaller, smoother, like I was being erased. But then, I saw them. Little lights, like stars, faces, stories, lives I'd touched. They were still out there, still counting on me.
Mr. Onana, can you hear me?
Amina. But how I could feel myself reforming, like a story being rewritten.
I've hacked their system, Mr. Onana, but I can't hold it for long.
Right, no time for metaphors. Time to write our way out of this. After all, in the right hands, a pen can be mightier than any weapon. And I had a story to finish, a truth to echo, a Congo to save. Each word felt like a blow against the walls of oppression, each sentence a step towards freedom. I wrote of the people, their struggles, their hopes, their resilience. And so, our story didn't end. It began anew. With truth as our foundation and hope as our guide, we started to rebuild. Not just a country, but a future. A future where every voice counts, every story matters, and every person has the power to make a difference. Well, I'd like to say I had a brilliant escape plan. But really, I just fell through the floor. Literally. Amina. I'd never been so happy to see a teenager covered in computer parts.
Mr. Onana, you're flatter than I expected.
Yes. Well, gravity and clay don't always get along. No time for reshaping. We had a story to tell. We ran. Through a world that couldn't decide if it was clay or code. Much like Congo itself, caught between tradition and, well, whatever you call this. Our friends weren't far behind, though I must say being chased by a stapler is a unique experience.
Almost there, Mr. Onana. Just need to bypass their final firewall.
Right, of course. The firewall. I nodded, pretending I understood. In moments like these, I'm reminded that I'm just a man with a pen. A very moldable pen. But sometimes that's enough. To be the bridge, the support, the surprisingly stretchy journalist.
Ready, Mr. Onana?
As ready as a clay figure can be, I suppose. With one press, our story, our truth was out there. It was like watching a stone drop into a pond. Except the pond was the world and the stone was, well, us. The reaction was immediate and loud, very, very loud. Those who had profited from Congo's pain found their empires a bit less solid. And my people, well, they stood a little taller, shone a little brighter. It wasn't a perfect ending. Real life rarely is. But it was a start.
What do you see, Mr. Onana?
Hope, Amina, growing right out of the clay. The days that followed were a blur. Interviews, investigations, more than a few angry phone calls. But standing there looking at faces from around the world, I realized something. The truth isn't just words on a page. It's this. It's change. It's life. They're calling our story the echo of truth now. Bit dramatic if you ask me, but, well, if it's an echo, let's make sure it keeps ringing. For Congo. For the truth. For every voice that deserves to be heard. Even if that voice is a bit clayey